So there's another great video here from More Perfect Union talking about the drug war. What they did is they went and talked to people who are serving either extremely long sentences for nonviolent drug offenses or even serving life for nonviolent drug offenses. They're going to highlight some of their stories here. This is really powerful stuff. Let's take a look.
Joe Biden, fucking fix this.
In the mid-90s and early 2000s, I was working on a career in the music industry, working with industry legends like Snoop Dogg and Tupac Shakur's recording group, when I was approached by a confidential informant who purchased $900 worth of cannabis from me on 3 occasions. I was prosecuted federally and was sentenced to a 55-year mandatory minimum as a first-time offender.
We were one of the first dispensaries in the country. We received over 2 decades in prison for a nonviolent cannabis offense. I'm currently serving my 14th year in prison, and I have 6 left.
At 19, I was charged with simple possession of marijuana in Mississippi, and I got sentenced to a year in jail and 5 years probation. At the end of the 5-year sentence, I was picked up for conspiracy to traffic marijuana. My full sentence is 60 years, and this is my 12th year locked up.
So after I was released from prison, I decided to help to get the people I left behind out of prison. There's a number of people in there whose sentences are more ridiculous than mine, and they don't have celebrities and political figures pulling for them like I did. Currently, there are roughly 2,700 people serving federal prison time for a nonviolent cannabis offense. There are murderers in prison and rapists and terrorists and everything who are serving a fraction of what I was sentenced to. When President Biden was running for office, he made a promise.
I think we should decriminalize marijuana, period. And I think anyone who has a record should be let out of jail, their record's expunged, it be completely zeroed out.
And so we're going to hold him to his promise, especially right now when we have this two-tiered system of justice where if you're wealthy and if you're an older white male, you can profit from the cannabis industry, while many people of color and people from poor neighborhoods are still sitting in prison for doing the same thing.
My name's Kyle Kulinski, and I'm the co-founder, CEO, and chairman of Glass House Brands. Glass House Brands is a very large cannabis company that's publicly traded on the OTC and on the New York Exchange in Canada. Are we a legal business? Yes, we're a legal business in the state of California, where we operate. We are illegal federally, like every single business that operates in the United States, because the United States still has cannabis, oddly enough, as a Schedule I drug.
Watching people cash in on the legal marijuana market while we're incarcerated is one of the most egregious injustices.
Luke was running a medicinal marijuana dispensary in Modesto, California in 2004. He and a partner.
We followed California law to the letter. We were licensed by the city. We had a permit from the state. We paid 100% of our taxes, both state and federal taxes.
George Bush was the president, and they were prosecuting marijuana business. They didn't recognize California's medical marijuana laws, just like federal law does not recognize the state laws in existence today. But what's happened since Luke was prosecuted are a number of things. The Obama administration instructed prosecutors not to prosecute individuals who are following state law. In 2014, Congress has introduced a rider that precludes the DOJ from using funds to prosecute businesses or individuals that are operating within the state's medical marijuana laws. And Luke falls within that guidelines. And so today, not only would Luke not be prosecuted, he couldn't be prosecuted. And he's still sitting in prison.
He ran one dispensary. I'm sitting in one right here in Los Angeles. My company has numerous. We're opening up more.
Parker Coleman, he has a very egregious case. He is currently serving a 60-year sentence.
He has 50 years to go. Nonviolent cannabis crime.
I can go and buy shares in weed stocks now. How am I still in here? Like, that can't be that hypocritical. Like, that's too blatant.
Joe Biden can end this today. Not tomorrow, not this week. He could end it today. He has the ability to free every single federal nonviolent drug offender. Every single one. He can do it. He's not doing it. Not only is he not doing that, he's not signing an executive order to take marijuana off the Schedule I drug list. I mean, look, even if he just moved it to Schedule II, it'd be a hell of a lot better. But he's not doing that. Really what he should do is just take it off the list completely or put it in the lowest category. But he's not going to do that. This is a guy who was responsible in part for writing the crime bill, which cracked down on nonviolent drug offenses, which locked up an entire generation of young black and brown people primarily. That's what he did. And he still hasn't atoned for that in any serious way. He said he was going to decriminalize it in the debates. He hasn't done it. He hasn't done it. He could fix it right now. Right now. And by the way, geez, you want to talk about the political angle of this? I mean, that would be a bump in his abysmal approval rating overnight if he did it. He's not doing it. Now, you see these direct, first-hand stories of people who are impacted by this. It is astounding that we have a situation where some people can be a CEO of a marijuana company and other people can be locked up for years over a small amount of possession. And it's all just, different states, you know? Federal government can fix this right now by Biden signing an executive order today, and that's it. The nightmare is over. The nightmare would be over. So I want to give you some more information on what's going on with the drug war. Every 25 seconds, an American is arrested for drug possession. Every 25 seconds. You want to talk about an injustice? By the way, what would I call this policy? It's authoritarian. This is authoritarianism. You have or should have the personal freedom to put in your body what you want to put in your body if you're not hurting anybody else. I think that's basic freedom. They say no, and every 25 seconds, an American is arrested for drug possession. There are 456,000 Americans serving time for a drug charge. 1.15 million Americans are on probation or parole for a drug charge. When you look at the cost of the drug war over the years, it's been more than $1 trillion since 1971. More than $1 trillion. Weed legalization would save $7.7 billion a year if you stop the massive apparatus that you need to enforce these laws. But then also, if you legalize it, the tax revenue would yield $6 billion a year. $6 billion. So that would leave us with $13.7 billion. For that money, you could fund more than 6 weeks of paid vacation for all Americans. Just by doing the right policy. It's the morally correct thing to do, and it's the fiscally correct thing to do. And that's obvious. And Joe Biden's not doing it. Again, look, credit to More Perfect Union for highlighting these stories, these personal stories. I'm more of like a macro picture guy. I like to talk about numbers and data and macro trends. But look, fact of the matter is, I don't think most people fall in that category. I think most people are they're more taken in by stories, by personal stories, by narratives. And this is More Perfect Union doing some great on-the-ground work, talking to people directly impacted by this. And you could put real faces to the trauma and to the injustice. And so this has to end. This has to end now. Free every single nonviolent drug offender. Shit, apologize to them. Pay them some money for being unfairly locked up. And legalize marijuana. There are only upsides that come from it, and I sincerely mean that. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.